All right, this is going to be card review part 6. I've lost track of which day is for what, but let's get started with this. Now, first card of the day, we have a big one, Fell Lord Betrug. This is a very weird and clunky and probably slow demon card for Warlock that probably won't work, but Warlock has ways to make this card interesting and work. It could be really good with getting a bunch of Void Lords or Mal'Ganises for your Gul'dan and for N'Zoth. As well, if you play this card with Skull of the Minari, you can pull this card out, and then the way the skull works is you pull the demon before you draw. Then you pull this card out for free, and then you draw your card at the start of the turn, which might be a demon that you want or any other card that you want to just pull out. And it has Rush. Whether or not it's a demon you want to die, it has Rush, and that's pretty decent, I think. As well, if you pull it out with the skull, you have the rest of your turn to do other things. So if you have the ability to draw, you might be able to draw another demon, and even if you play this out on turn 8 by itself, or not turn 8, but turn 10, I mean, if you play it out on turn 10, you can use your hero power and possibly draw into a minion that way as well. So I think this card is probably pretty slow and weird and clunky and unnecessary in like a big Reno lock, demon lock, control hand lock thing, but it has some applications, but I don't think most of the applications are all that useful. Next up, we have Hecklebot. As a person who plays combo decks a lot, I think that this is a very good card to print. I'm definitely not showing any biases here because I'm someone who likes playing combo decks, but I don't like when combo decks are overpowered and there's no way to combat them. And this card, very similar to a Death Lord, is a healthy disruption card. I think it's important to have disruption cards in standard every set so combo decks aren't overbearing, and for wild, this isn't too much of a disruption to combo decks compared to what already exists. And it's just a nice healthy addition to the disruption tech card list that we have here in Wild. I don't have any problems with this card. I think it's balanced enough with the stats. I think it disrupts in a pretty good way, very similar to Dirty Rat and Death Lord kind of put together. I think it's just good. It's good. I like this card. Next up, we have Walking Fountain. I'm not so sure, based on the card art, what makes this a fountain or how it's walking, but I digress. This card is like a Stormwatcher, but it's not garbage. It's actually pretty good. As we've seen with Ziliax, the combination of Lifesteal and Rush is really powerful because it allows you to both board swing and gain life, and the fact that this has a lot of health and can gain you a pretty decent amount of life shows that it might not be as good as Ziliax, but it's still pretty decent. And the only thing I can think of is like in an Elemental Shaman, it competes for deck slot with Kalamos. Maybe some other high cost elementals, but I think this card is even better than like Alakir in like a general elemental deck. It does more, I think. Next up, we have Muck Morpher. True to being an epic card, this card is really weird and hard to analyze properly. My first thought for this card is Malygos. If you can guarantee Malygos in your deck and pulling Malygos off of this, you could do pretty good at just doing some kind of big bursty Malygos combo for not that expensive. And if you reduce the cost of this, you can get 2 Malygos and play out some spells. So that's another thing. I don't know how useful that is. I don't know how good Malygos Shaman is. Probably not good at all. I might try it. It's an epic, so I don't know if I'll have this card. But if I do, I'll try Malygos Shaman. Another thing I can think of is maybe getting like big death rattles for like a N'Zoth deck, something like that, or something that's just like a powerful minion, like a big minion. Like if you could do like big shaman and pull like Kel'Thuzad or Ragnaros or something like that, and you could combo it with reincarnate and things like that. I don't know. It's weird. We'll see. I have no idea how to analyze this card perfectly, but it'll get experimented with. Next up, we have a new Paladin legendary. Commander Risa is what I'm going to say. I have no idea if that's right or not. Now, this card doesn't seem like it's good enough based on the stats, but the potential it has, if it's good enough, is really frightening. The reason I don't think it's good enough is it has a very aggressive stat line, which means it's not very good at surviving easily, and what you want this card to do is you want it to survive enough for the secrets to go off. And the thing about that is you either need to play the secrets before and have the secrets not go off before you play this, or you need to play this and have the secrets go... You play this first and have the secrets played second. However that works, I don't know, but if you can get it to work, the Paladin secrets synergize a lot with keeping this card alive. Like Noble Sack will keep it alive, and Redemption will bring it back. Redemption will bring 2 of them back, but I know it, based on how it's worded, it won't make secrets trigger 3 times. Anyway, the Paladin secrets just do a good job at keeping this alive, especially with the new one, whatever that's called, Never Surrender. If they try to board clear, this will give everything +4 to make it a lot less vulnerable of a card. But as it stands, it seems like it's kind of hard to get the secrets set up with this and have the secrets up and have this stay alive. But if you can, it's really frightening. As well, this card and Paladin secrets can be run in Odd Paladin, and I don't like that thought. I don't like that thought one bit. But we'll have to see. All right, next up, we have Ray of Frost, which at first glance seems kind of subpar and weak. A lot of people compare it to things like Snap Freeze and Freezing Potion and Shatter, I guess. But the reason those cards don't work is because they need other cards to work with them. Otherwise, they don't do enough to be slotted into a deck. And this card is only like a little bit better, but it has flexibility to it because of the twin spell aspect. So you can do more than one thing with this card. So in some cases, the card has the ability to support itself. Do you want to deal 2 damage to something? Cast this twice on something, and it does 2 damage and freezes it. You want to deal 4 damage? If something's already frozen, you can do that. You can freeze 2 things. You can freeze something twice over 2 turns with this because of the twin spell. It's decent, I think. Is it good enough? I don't know. I don't think so. But it's definitely better than cards like Freezing Potion and Snap Freeze. Now, the last card of the day we have is Mana Cyclone, and if anybody didn't see the reveal for this card, the day before, Trump struggled for 40 good minutes to open his puzzle box, and what Disguise toasted with his puzzle box, after like 5 minutes or so of trying to open the puzzle box, did the smart thing to prevent everybody from waiting to open the box, and opened it with a hammer. So I know you probably won't see this toast, but if you do, thank you. Anyway, let's take a look at the card. The card seems like it is pretty good if you're doing like an elemental quest mage, and I like that they're doing elementals and getting generated mage spells together. I like that they're developing that as an archetype, that maybe you could actually make the Ruby Spellstone work in just like a regular quest mage. And this card does a lot on its own to give you a lot of quests, or spells, I mean, for the quest. You could very easily make a deck that allows you to complete the quest multiple times, especially if you include a card like Hexlord Malacras. You could use this card to generate a lot of spells very, very easily. It's not very expensive, and you can play it at the end of your turn after you've played some other spells already. And even if you don't get a lot of spells off of this, like 1 or 2, still pretty good, I think. That's going to wrap it up for this episode. Thank you guys for watching. I have more reviews for more cards for the next few days coming out. Keep an eye out for those. Talk to you later, guys.